Welcome back to TV47 Weekend Edition. It is time for Her Say. Now, the election and success of a female president can be influenced by a myriad of social factors that often impede women from reaching the highest office in different countries. While it is crucial to approach this conversation with the sensitivity that it deserves and, of course, an open mind. So tonight on Her Say, we engage with women to explore the progress our country has made in overcoming these social barriers that could otherwise hinder women from occupying the highest political office. This is TV47 Weekend Edition. Karibu sana once again, and it is Her Say. In studio with me and right next to me is the current Miss President and the chairperson Jubilee Youth League, none other than Angel Budia. Most of you will know her. Karibu sana, Angel. Thank you so much for creating time.
Thank you.
Right, of course, next to Angel is Ambassador Esther Waringa. Ambassador Esther Waringa, you know, presented her bid to vie for presidency, and she says she will not she'll not be stopped by anything. She'll still go back to that bid. But why is it that she did not manage last time, and what gives her the confidence to know that, well, there's hope for next time? She's the founder of Public Service Governance. Thank you so much,
thank you,
Ambassador, for creating time to be with us. And you know, this one's gave us the hope that, you know, for the very first time as a country, we're going to get a deputy president, you know, a female deputy president for that matter. And you know, that means that you are just an inch to the presidency. But why is it that we did not manage to get that? Irene Kamau, the former presidential running mate, of course, thank you so much for creating time to be with us. And we get to this very, very important conversation. But we say that we want to look at the social barriers and hindrances that have not allowed us the chance to be accepted at the political stage. But before then, allow me to just take a look at, you know, the list of presidents that we have had in Africa. Mr. Director, if we could have that up. The list of presidents that we have had in Africa, and perhaps just look at, you know, the possibilities of us ever having others. And the most unfortunate bit of this is that you find that, well, while we appreciate that they have been presidents in Africa, some of them, or a majority of them, it's on interim basis and, you know, on acting capacity. So we have Sylvie Kiningi as acting president of Burundi. That is in October 1993 to October 1993. We have Ivy Matsepe as Kasaburi, acting president of South Africa. That was in September 2005. Note that acting as well. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, president of Liberia, January 2006 to January 2018. Of course, one of the few that we actually celebrate so much so. Then Rose Francine Rugombe, interim president of Gabon, June 2009 to October 2009. And then we have Agnes Monique Onsan, Agnes Monique, acting president of Mauritius, March to July 2012, May to June 2015, as well as Joyce Hilda Banda, president of Malawi from April 2012 to 2014, May 2014, and then Catherine Samba here, acting president, let's have IS, of Central African Republic, January 2014 to March 2016. And then we come to the next one. Amina Garib Fakim, president of Mauritius, June 2015 to March 2018. We also have Saleh Work is the president of Ethiopia, October 2018 to today. And of course, we also do not forget Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, the president of Tanzania, from March 2021 to date. Just looking at that, ladies, and you look at some of them, or a majority of them, perhaps not elected to presidency. And we also know the latest story of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan. What is this that stops us from getting into that space, Miss President?
Well, Linda, if I look at my experiences, I think even the environment that you're in really speaks a lot to who you are and what you become. When I was a teenager, I wanted to become a news anchor like you.
Right. Whoa.
Yes. And as I went through, I mean, watching the news, just understanding what national issues are, and that's when you see, okay, there are other problems in the country. And then that does not stop there. I go into the university. Then I'm exposed to this student life, and I I find an opportunity in wanting to communicate student issues because I wanted to become a good journalist like you.
Right.
So I wanted to communicate student issues, and they would really push me and say, Angel, please say this and this on our behalf. And that's when now I got into elective politics at the university. And then maybe that's when I took a bit of a break on wanting to become a journalist and decided, let me do more advocacy. And this is how I've come to be where I am today. I think a lot plays out because for me to be exposed to that environment, number one is having a good education.
Yeah.
I am a beneficiary of Kenya's public system of education, going all the way to the University of Nairobi and on a government scholarship. And I think those are some of the very important decisions that we make as a country, and we don't think outside them, but they really make a huge impact in our lives. And you see that education also delays things like parenthood and things like that and so on and so forth. And even that education of the sex education as well. Because you see a lot of teenage pregnancies across the country. Yeah. Number one, if I had gotten pregnant when I was 18 or just after completing high school or maybe during high school, that delays my career forever. I have to focus on a newborn, maybe even decide to get married because I mean, that is what life has presented to me. Yeah. That delays a whole lot of things. Vis-a-vis an Angel who now goes to the university, does her bachelor's, does her master's, very agile about national political issues, still able to do other things and not have that kind of distraction until knowing that if I want it, I will be prepared for it. That knowledge alone is not available when you're 17, 16, 14, and so on and so forth. Even when you talk about sex education in school and so on and so forth, I think teenage pregnancy is one of the biggest issues, the hurdles that face young women in Kenya, and we are not doing so much to help them not go through that kind of challenge in their teenage, to enjoy their teenage, to focus on their education, and then now to think about the politics. Before they think about putting food on the table, what my children are going to go to school, where, and so on and so forth. My husband is coming home. Maybe he's some drunkard guy you met at the village.
And these things we'll be talking about, all of them, but we'll be coming to that because then it's also a reality. But then again, Ambassador, quickly, before we take a quick short break, and you know, we are talking about education, and I'm glad that Angel brings in the aspect of education. Quite vast disparities that have been witnessed, and perhaps, you know, with ladies of your age, that, you know, during your times, not everybody perhaps had the privilege of getting to education. Has this been amongst the hugest of stumbling blocks for them to get into spaces of leadership?
Yeah, good evening, viewers. I'm Ambassador Esther Waringa, and I would say that, yes, Kenya is ready for a 6th woman president, and I must say, what are some of these stumbling blocks that have not enabled us get there? Allow me to start by defining what we mean by presidency. Because sometimes when we think about a president, who is that person that we are looking for? Is it the head of state who is able to transform an economy of a nation? We are looking for a head of state who is able to be an oversight authority over policy formulation and implementation. We are looking for a head of state who is able, like for example, in our jurisdiction in Kenya, to be able to oversight or to bring together the 3 arms of government. We are looking for a head of state who is able to fight corruption. So if we have that kind of a personality, who have the necessary competence, who have meritocracy, who has the necessary qualifications as now we come to education. Why don't we now put that person into leadership? Other than asking, is she a woman, is she a man? I think the big picture here is somebody who can be able to take, if we narrow down to our country here, and even at the continental level, who is that person who is able to bring the continent, individual countries to one level, from one level to the other, narrowing down to Kenya. Who is that individual who is able to do exactly what I have said? The person. What we are looking for is what is between the ears, the brain.
So then education comes in
the brain, the capacity to deliver. So women, whether it's a man or a woman, what is between the brain is exactly what we are looking for.
Okay.
Anything else, I think it really doesn't matter. I think the society in the Republic of Kenya is a high time that we come to self-realization that we have failed in 1 or 2 or 3 times by trying to look at the people in trouser, at the people probably with the base, but forgetting that what such people can do, even women in skirts and in dresses can be able to do better.
And I want to take it away from you and come back to you.
Yes.
But then again, it is fair that we, as well engage Irene before we take a quick short break.
Yes.
Still in the aspect of education, and perhaps picking it up from what Ambassador says, that it is what is in your brain that we're looking for. Just how much is education crucial towards enriching this? And we have witnessed disparities in the education sector. Do you suppose they come in handy to make sure that, we do not have a proportionate space for the girl child to occupy these top seats?
No, thank you very much for that question. And thank you very much for having me on set today.
Thank you.
I am listening to the ambassador, a very passionate president to be, and Miss President here. I function in the education sector. I can tell you authoritatively, the disparities that we're talking about between a boy child and a girl child would have been there a few years ago.
Right.
But that disparity over time has been overtaken by the investment that the government has done over the years to the girl child.
Okay.
Currently, if you look, there are so many girls' schools than boys' schools. In fact, at some point, the cry was, if we make our girls so good, who's going to marry them if we don't make the boys? So there was there was a skewed understanding by that time during the Moi era, and the girl child was given really good boost. But that notwithstanding, the other disparities are not necessarily on the structural systems of education.
Yeah.
It is on the social fabric of our society that discriminates against the girl child, discriminates against our young women. If you look at it, even before you come to the issues of presidency, currently as we are constituted as a nation, as a people, as a family, is that the girl is currently an endangered species.
Is she?
I kid you not, even before they could come to the point of vying for presidency, at the local level, just looking at the femicide cases going on, like about 12 of them in 2 months, and the girl child, nobody has a voice for them, and so on and so forth. And when a woman president comes up, the same social fabric comes to play. If you look at the issue of Martha Karua trying to run for presidency, what exactly brought her down? It's still a social fabric. Beyond that is the structural issues of systems.
Yeah.
The systemic issues in the nation that do not propose and do not even give the girl child the strength to come out strongly against their male counterpart. By the time you start the race, the boy child is ahead. The women are behind a few steps. You say, on your marks, get set, go. And the system has already placed the men 3-4 steps ahead of the ladies. And then putting this dialogue to discuss whether a female president is a good thing to come in the future or not would be taking the entire context of presidency and putting it on issues gender. But what we're looking for is ability, meritocracy, ability to deliver for the nation, get the nation out of poverty, get the nation out of illiteracy, and get them out of matters to do with health. We're looking for somebody that can deliver a nation. We're looking for charisma, not only charisma, but abilities and competencies.
I am curious to understand, upon you being reached out to the Deputy President.
Yes.
Why did you accept for that position and not, the first bid or perhaps the presidency itself? Why didn't you say that actually, on second thought, I think I can go for the presidency and not the deputy? Because if you're good enough to be deputy president, then clearly you must be good enough to be president. You will answer me, but after this short break.
Thank you so much.
So we take a quick short break and her say is back shortly.
Wanasema wasemao kuwa elimu ni bahari haiishi kwa kuchotwa. Wakati mwingi natangamana na wanafunzi madarasani, sio kama mwalimu bali kama nahodha kwenye kipindi cha tasnia ya elimu. Na iwapo utanikosa madarasani, basi utanipata nyanjani nikisaka habari zenye usawa, ufasaha na ukweli. Na iwapo utanikosa nyanjani, bila shaka utanipata studioni hapa nikisoma habari na kuendesha mijadala mikomavu. Mimi ni Andrin Kilemi, mpenzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili na elimu kwa jumla.
Mtoto wa junior secondary school nahitaji kumnunulia vitabu, kalamu na school fees yake.
Kwa wale mashabiki ambao wanafuatilia sana Maybet, utakuwa unaambia jambo lipi?
Mashabiki nawaambia ingieni Maybet, ubeti. Pia nyinyi mtakuwa washindi kama mimi.
Pia mtazamaji, wewe unaweza kuwa mshindi kwa Maybet free jackpot kama vile Edwin Mbetsa huyu ambaye ameshinda.
From the markets to the streets to the stocks, we make the complex comprehensible. Join me, Hibak Said, on TV47 Business News for market insights like never before.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Welcome back to Her Say, and we get back to the conversation with this, comment here from Simon Mungai, who's watching. It's an interesting one, perhaps to pick it up from where Irene left it. And he says, I oppose women in power because when a woman gets into power, I will feel somehow intimidated as a man because I am threatened that she will transfer her power or alpha element back at home. Number two, I am a man, I will feel somehow left behind and not as superior as I was when she wasn't in power. So yes, a social element there. and maybe I should loop you in briefly before we come to you, Ms. President. The historical space that we come from, the patriarchal society, the efforts that we have put on board to make sure that we get to create that balance. Evidently, Irene says that we are not there just yet, and the systems are not helping in any way.
True. Historically, where we have come from as a country, if we are to narrow down to the Republic of Kenya, culturally, I think women were not allowed, number one, to go to school. And I think even today, we still have some cultures, which I'll not mention right here, that are still, we are still struggling to have ladies, to have girls access education. And that is in Kenya. So the Minister of Education must do all that it can within its powers to ensure and facilitate that every girl child from some of these communities, especially from the marginalized regions, are able to bring on board what His Excellency Honorable Mwai Kibaki campaigned for, the free primary secondary education for every school-going child. At that age, every child must be in classroom, whether a girl or a boy. So we've come from far, but I think also with the promulgation of 2010 Constitution that provided for the two-third gender rule, although it's at the county constituency level, but still it has not given very clear guidelines on how we can probably handle the women agenda at the presidential level. But and again, we are aware that this law is something that have been discussed in Parliament for quite a long time. But until now, we have not managed to pass the two-third gender rule. So what are we saying? Are we saying that we don't have the goodwill as a country? Because if Parliament has discussed this law, not 2 times, even 3 times, and it has failed to go through, what are we telling ourselves? That we are failing at some point. The goodwill to be able to facilitate or ensure that we have equality, that we have women at the high echelons of leadership. Still, we need to up our game. We need to tell ourselves what is lacking. Is it the capacities? Is it the political goodwill? Is it the laws to facilitate that? Is it the meritocracy in women? What is really lacking? But I think we have had women who have performed very well going forward in this country. We have Wangari Maathai, who fought for environment in the Republic of Kenya, and she died a hero. 2, we have this lady who has just been the VC of the Kenyatta University. Yes,
Mogenda, Olive.
Absolutely, yeah, Olive Mogenda. She turned around that university, probably from a village institution to a world-class institution. So what are we saying? That yes, women can. And we only need to embrace as a society that goodwill, that positive heart, that positive mindset that women can. Secondly, women, we must believe in ourselves. Because there is no way, and sometimes I don't promote affirmative action. I believe it when women prompt themselves into positions of leadership. Then you are voted in or you are voted out, depending on your capacity to deliver, depending on your meritocracy, depending on your presentability to the people of Kenya. Because sometimes when we go too much on affirmative action, you get a woman from the kitchen and you are awarding her a position because of affirmative action. We may not win at all. So women, can we come out like Madam Esther has come out as the 6th president?
And
yes.
hold it.
And I'm telling you, my dear sister, I'm telling you, it is actually a running process. And I'm actually learning so many things
and
right now.
I want us to share our experiences or our learning experiences.
Beautiful.
Allow me to loop in first, Madam President here.
Very well.
And Ms. President, you say then you got into campus and you almost felt like, you know what, you want to get into the space of leadership. And in the space of leadership, what are some of the social, forget about the political aspect, because that will always be there, I mean, for as long as it's a competition. But the social factors that you almost felt like, you know, they lagged you behind, or maybe yours was an easy ride?
Well, Linda...
And even right now, you are in a leadership position.
Yes. Well, first of all, at home is the biggest convincing that you have to do. Because one thing my mom had warned me about campus politics. She was in the university during Moi's time, and that was a very hectic time. So she was afraid for me. She was like, politics? No. Just go, read, come back. Come back in one piece. Yeah, so when I wanted to run for office when I was at the university for the first time, I did not tell her. So I just went ahead, I looked for support from my classmates, and that's when now I put myself into the ring. And then when it was 2 days to the election, or like a week or so, I told her, Mom, by the way, I'm running for a seat in campus. And the election is on Friday. So she's like, oh yeah, okay, all the best. She had not known exactly what it was. She thought maybe it was one of the clubs, and the drama clubs, or something of that sort. So she didn't know what exactly it was. But then when I won the seat, and then now she got to know what it was about, then she was shocked. Now she started now guiding me in a different way. So at home is the most difficult, especially if it's not a political family. Like, I'm not from a political family, but I'm very much interested in matters of this country. I went ahead, ran for office, Academic Affairs Secretary in the Students' Organization of Nairobi University. And also Sonu is famous for many things. Churning out different kinds of leaders. So I got into that space. I learned a lot. Students supported me in different ways. I had challenges here and there, especially number one to do with mentorship. You'll also figure out when you're getting into the political space that there are not very many women mentors, because there are very few, and the ones who are available are very busy. They have so many things. So you tend to really struggle in that small space they're in, so that you can also get some insight on how to get into the political space. And even the former female student leaders were also quite difficult to access because there are not so many, and some are out of the country or doing different kinds of things. But so we just went into the ring. Peer mentorship is also something excellent. Mentoring each other in the university. You're running for this, I'm running for this. Let's work together. That's something that really came out in handy. But then again, it could also get insecure when we want to go for protests. Peaceful protests, for that matter. And we are at the forefront.
Yeah.
We are the ones who...
you're the leaders, you have
we
to
are, we are at the forefront. You make a press statement, you go into the streets. It's not a demo until police come. So, police come, we get arrested. We now have to get students out. You know, it's such a whole thing. And you know, it's about government trying to raise student fees. And we come from humble backgrounds. We are not paying so much, but government cannot try to raise that fee. So you feel that these are very social, economic issues happening in the university and in the education space. So you cannot just sit back and watch them happen. So we dealt with a lot of that. We dealt with even rape issues that would happen. Maybe a student is trying to get to the university, something happens along the way. Those are things that we dealt with as student leaders. But what that did is to shape me into who I am today, and I appreciate that process. And I have not left it. That's why, amongst many other things, I ran for Miss President, a very competitive show with over 700 women applying for it. Season 1 produced some excellent leaders, some in who became a CAS, others are now nominated in Parliament and Senate, others in very significant parastatal positions, and still gunning in for leadership.
I'm yet to understand why none of them has, presented their bid to be president. But then
we wait for the 2027.
We look forward to see what difference this then will make.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's quite intense. I agree. Yeah. And therein, you get a lot of lessons that perhaps you'd want to carry forward, and you even get to gain the stamina. But here you are, and you have to get the tiny ones to understand that, Mami, now you'll be getting to see Mami on TV, and it is for this reason.
Yes.
First of all, at that social level, how was it like, and how easy a ride was it? And why is it that you did not say, I want to go for the big seat and not to, I don't want to say play second fiddle or what?
Want to go for the big seat? Yeah.
Plans underway?
Let's leave that one for that particular one. But yes, for the running mate, where I come from and from where I operate from, I've noticed that sometimes the deputies or the assistants do the donkey work, so to speak. In a school environment, the deputy head teacher will be doing quite a lot of work
compared to
on the ground. It is a person with the hands-on expertise, ability to control things on the ground and produce results, not necessarily at the limelight. They are the help to the person that is running, and in the event that that person is not there, they could still be able to run. Number 2, they must have the capacity to be loyal and be able to receive the vision from someone else and run with it. And that vision, they must also believe in it. I strongly believed in what Reuben Kigame stood for. He stood for Utu. He stood for things to do with maadili. These are some of the things that you're talking about, the social fabric that did not allow or does not allow the marginalized and the special people groups to be able to rise up in leadership. In our constitution, in Article 100, it categorizes the women as that special group of people, and it gives us the capacity to be handled as such in all areas. If you look at Article 27, Article 3, it also talks about the capacity for us, or the Constitution gives us the right to be given preferences and to be given treatment as that particular person with opportunities like any other. So it gives us that right for equal opportunities. Right. So once you have the equal opportunities like others, it's your duty to go out there and take it. So I felt in my heart at that time that let me go out and support the vision that I believe in. Sometimes it doesn't really pay to start a parallel program if you already have one that is running that you can plug in if you're really interested in society. But there is that thing of maybe there's nothing available in the map then you can offer yourself with the authentic, like what the ambassador here did, what she believed is authentic. As far as I'm concerned, at that time when we were doing the politics or the running for presidency last elections, we believed that we were to offer Kenya an authentic third option. There were options out there, but we felt that the Kenyans needed to change the narrative. There was the narrative that these are the number of people, that it's always between so and so and so and so. And we felt, what about if we brought a different kind of narrative into it, throw the spanner into the wheel, give the Kenyans an opportunity to decide, and let it be on value-based kind of politics. Politics that talk about the real Utu. Ubuntu, which is known across all African countries, Maadili, which is values, the value systems that says that you cannot treat one person in a different way and another person in a different way. All of them should be handled at the same pedestal. We had such things. We talked of Jenga Kenya at that time. Our work was to think of how to build a better Kenya. In the event that when we were running, things did not really quite add up, because we were, my presidential candidate at that time, Ruben Kigame, was an independent candidate. That was quite something, because it did not go through. However, I need to say this, even as I know it's something you didn't ask, but looking at some of the things that really like stereotype the women, even if they want to come into those spaces, is the way society has already stereotyped girls. They grow up understanding that there is a level they can't go to. They grow up understanding there is a certain thing that they are supposed to act in a particular way. I keep referring back to that, which is an emerging issue. The one that we are talking about, the many girls, the femicide that's going on. Like I said, to me, as a leader, a woman leader, it would be wrong to come on a set like this one and fail to condemn the deaths of those girls. They are too many. And the message it is sending is that the girls are at risk. These are the same things we are talking about here, her say. The girls are saying loudly, and in fact, some of them called me and told me, Mama, when you get there, please tell them we need protection. That is what leadership is all about. Our girls at the grassroots ought to be protected at all times. It is our work as leaders, women or otherwise.
And even as you share your experience briefly, just how important are the support systems? Like you hear Angel here highlighting that, there are very few who get the chance and opportunity to be walked through this, process of, leadership. Just how important is mentorship and networking, in terms of making sure that the girls are well nurtured for that the girls are even, alerted on some of the dangers that lie ahead, the dangers that we're talking about, femicide and all that, such that they would not find themselves landing into these spaces.
I think that's very, very paramount. If our girls, starting with the Ministry of Education, then with the civil society, coming now to the next high level of women probably looking for elective positions. What do we have from the ORPP, like, for example, the political parties upon which women are running for positions? Do we have like a women fund that probably is targeting the women candidates from maybe the ORPP, and from the civil society? Do we have programs that are building capacities for women? Because we have come along a period where women, I will not say that we've been in the kitchen, not really the kitchen that I'm talking about, but we've been behind there. Actually, our men, and actually it's very real in Kenya, we have been having 5 men presidents. Where have been our women? Of course, we saw Martha Karua, we saw Giru, we saw Wangari Maathai, we saw Rina Jabi Kirimo, and these women tried to seek these high-level positions. But did the systems favor them? Was there provision, like from the ORPP, that this fund is specifically for women who may not have the financial muscle like men? Did we see the civil society organizing for conferences to capacity build women candidates? Did we see even the religious institutions giving a backup to women? Did we see them, have we seen the Ministry of Education having probably special programs that are geared towards, well, I have seen like the STEM, the science, technology and all this that have been introduced in high schools. But what is the percentage of girls now who are taking science subject? Do we have strategic initiatives that are geared towards enhancing the number of girls who are attending these subjects?
Are the women themselves trying to bring this up? Because if Angel is going to highlight that not most of the women are available, even those ones that have passed through this process, will perhaps just go and not care if there's anyone that they're leaving behind that needs that mentorship, that needs that nurturing.
I think it's a time, and I salute women actually, even before we say that women have not really come out in good numbers in the political space. You are aware that we, in our social setup, in our villages, we have so many women groups, that women have been able to breathe life into each other at the social sector there. But what about when it comes to the political space? And I must ask, why do we like either candidate? This is something that I've experienced. You know, I was a presidential aspirant and even now I am. But when you get to like the political space and you seek like to go and talk to some women somewhere, it's like, how much money is she bringing on board? I think this culture must come to an end. If we have to bring authentic, competent, competitive and also leadership based on meritocracy and capacity to deliver. Capacity to deliver and meritocracy does not in any way bring the financial muscle into limelight. I could be having the brain to deliver a country, especially Kenya, out of the political mess that we are in. I could be having also the meritocracy, the papers, the certificates, the brain, the wisdom, but I may not have the financial muscle. That only can bring a woman down. What are the strategic measures going forward that we are going to undertake as a country? Like, I have to be very open, my dear sister, that 2-3 months, because I started this like last year, and I visited several institutions. And when I get into these institutions, the first thing is, how much money has she come with to give us? Please, the people of Kenya, we must run away from a corrupt culture of doing things, and especially when it comes to birthing leadership. There is no way, and there is nowhere that the power of money brings a leadership up. There is no way, there is nowhere that I could be a billionaire, but between my ears, I have nothing to bring to the people of Kenya. Between my ears, I have no capacity to formulate policies. Between the ears, I have no capacity to bring like what is going on in the Republic, the 3 organs of government together to be able to take this country forward. Between the ears, I have not that power to be able to bring the cost of living down. But Kenyans are like, how much money is Madam President bringing to our church? This must come to an end. It may not, we don't have the legislative measures right now to be able to have like churches to stop asking money from politicians. But you churches, you are complaining, but you are the people who call politicians to your church. They give you millions. Once they give you millions of money, you vote them in. Why do you have to complain that they are not delivering? Well, they give you money. Why do you have to demand delivery from them? Here we are to clean up government, to clean the mess in electoral process and ensure. And you know, a mother, I don't think there are so many women that have been corrupted and taken it up. I believe in such women leadership. Like, look at Mugenda from Kenyatta University, a woman who delivered I would say 100 plus 1%. She never took bribes from university, from students. She never, maybe I had her story a little bit. Okay, away from Mugenda. Look at Wangare Maathai, a selfless woman who was not ready even to give a coin.
But just how many ladies appreciate these ladies? And that you've had this cliche.
A question.
It's now growing to a level where it's a cliche that, you know, women are their own enemies. Just how many women supported you in your bid, you know, genuinely to say that, you know what, we're backing our own and we're going to come out in large numbers to make sure that she gets it?
Well, what we've done is that as we are getting into school, we have a lot of 50-50s. So there are equal number of male and equal number of females at my level.
Right.
And so I found a lot of support from my peers, apparently, because I think we are coming to understand that if 50% of the population is not on the decision-making table, then so many things are going wrong. That's why we have one country bombing another just because of ego. And if we had a softer power from that we give as women, we don't have to come out and start standing on top of tables to prove that we we are powerful and that we can lead. But the soft power that we have, the emotional intelligence that we elude as women across the world is something that we need to really maximize on. Right now, there's a campaign for Madam Secretary General, because the Secretary General of the United Nations is soon coming. The selection now is coming up in about, I think, a year or two. And so now there's a global campaign on having a first female Secretary General. So there's a lot that we are now seeing that even if I support him instead of her, a lot goes wrong. And whether I like a woman, that woman or not, her personality or not, sometimes I'm just obliged, like, just please go and represent us. Please just go and clear those obstacles, because there are too many. If every office I walk into and I find a man, a lot of things happen in the way. But it's different if I walk into an office, a powerful office, and I find a woman. It is just, it's seamless. The challenges are not as compared to finding a man in that same office.
Well, that's interesting, because the boy child says that they are under attack. But then again, we come to you, Madam Deputy President, allow me to call you that. As we come to a close, because then time is extremely not on our side, we keep talking about balancing work, life, you know, and all this. And actually, if you noticed, Angel began by highlighting that what if I got pregnant on the way and all that? How do we try and create a balance? How do we shed off this such that we're not going to be having this mentality that, you know what, when a woman is doing this, her life comes to a stop. When this is happening.
With the baby, her babies.
She came over with her babies, yeah?
Oh, yeah, we came over with the babies. That's balancing.
That's the love and nothing to say.
I told her, this is what we call women, her say, and leadership. You've got to balance the family and balance the work and ensure that you come out strong on both fronts. The question you're asking, I can answer it in 3 words. Diet, exercise, and environment. The environment you create around the women, the environment you create around your home, the environment you create around your even office, wherever spheres or wherever angle you have cut out for yourself, because everybody cuts out something out of life for themselves. You've cut out something for yourself at this TV station. That place, you feed that environment with vibes from yourself. You inject it and make it what you want it to become, to breed for you. So the environment you put yourself in and you put your mind into it. The next is the diet, what you consume, what you allow yourself to see, to hear, and to interact with, both at home and at work, will bring out that beautiful balance. If you give too much to one side, you end up with obesity. If you give too little, you end up with malnutrition. You would need to balance that diet that you're infusing into your systems as a woman leader to be, or a woman leader that is, or even a woman that is watching from the grassroots level and wishes to change the environment. I want to remove this feeling that leadership for women is only at the topmost. We lead even from our houses, because we make rules in our homes, and our husbands have to toe the line. They know where not to throw the socks.
That's true.
Those are your rules, girl. So they know what to do. So like I said, the diet, the exercise, and the environment. The exercise is what I put myself to do on a daily basis as a woman leader. That balancing is on that exercise. If I am poorly exercised, I will have excesses in whichever line and whichever lane, either financial excesses, whether emotional excesses, whether corruption excesses, whatever excesses is as a result of poor exercise. And I rest my case.
Oh, incredible, incredible. A minute as we come to a close also.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
Kenya, yes, we shall. Time has come for a female presidency based on meritocracy, capacity to deliver. Let us work on the financial bit of it. Let us work on our cultures. Let us work on our attitude. Let us work on our embracing the women presidency, because it's knocking door. It's just about to be realized in the Republic of Kenya. Together we shall, and here we come. Ambassador Esther Waringa, Rais wa sita wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
All the best, Ambassador.
Thank you, Linda. And what I'd tell the country is that we cannot have sustainable development without gender equality. It is important that we have 50% of the population on the decision-making table. So I urge young women, I urge young men to support their girls, their daughter, their mothers, their aunties, and so on and so forth. The time is now, and the time is coming, and we cannot stop an idea whose time has come, and indeed it has come. Thank you.
You want to rest it at exercise, diet, and...
May I say that, just to wind us up, that as ladies, as women of the Republic of Kenya, we have to work against this cliche that behind every successful man, there is a woman. How about if there is a woman even at that successful place? Women can and women will. We look forward to a day when, like Tanzania, we shall say, Kenya is moving forward thanks to a woman president.
Wow. Well, and we were talking about Miss President, and the question was, a possible female president? We can only wait to see, but we raise our hopes high and high above. My name is Linda Alela. Thank you so much, ladies, once again for an incredible show. So, short and sweet, as they would say, if only we had time. But then again, we have to close our say at this very point. Angel Budia, seated right next to me, Chairperson, Jubilee Youth League. Thank you so much for your time, as well as Ambassador Esther Waringa, the founder, Public Service Governance, and a former presidential running mate, none other than Irene Kamau. Ladies, once again, asanteni sana. I get to see you again on Her Say, that is next week. But for now, tomorrow I'll be having a date with you, so keep it TV 47. And again, my name is Linda Alela. Good night.